Hi everyone. Today I am going to deal with the topic metal casting, which is in the subject of production technology for second year BTech students in mechanical department. My name is Bai Bhanulata, working as associate professor in Chebrol Engineering College in mechanical department. So the topic I am dealing today is metal casting. So, what is meant by a solidification process? We consider start working material is either a liquid or is a highly plastic condition. The part is created through solidification of the material. Solidification process can be classified according to the engineering material processed. First, we can do solidification using metals, using ceramics, and using polymers and polymer matrix composites. Polymer matrix composites. So the process solidification is done in actually casting. So now we define what is casting. Casting is a process in which molten metal flows by gravity or other force into the mold, which where it solidifies in the shape of a mold cavity. The term casting also implies to the part made in the process. Steps in casting seem simple. The first one is melt the metal, pour it into the mold, and let it freeze. These are the three main steps which we do in casting. And after it freeze means it gets solidified. So we get remove the part that is called as a casted part. So the capabilities and advantages of casting, we can create complex part geometries that cannot be made by any other process. We can create both external and internal shapes, and some casting process or net shapes, other and near net shapes, can produce very large parts with a high weight more than 100 tons and can be applied to shape any metal that can be melt. Some casting methods are suited for mass production, can also be applied on polymers and ceramics. And now coming to the disadvantages of casting. We have many disadvantages of castings. There are limitations on mechanical properties. We cannot get dimensional accuracy. After that, some surface finishing operations has to be done after we finish the sand casting, and we need to have safety hazards to the workers because of the hot metal conditions, and there will be some environmental problems, so that certain cores may be formed inside when they are getting freezed or solidified. So parts made by the casting. So we have big parts made, engine blocks and heads for automotive vehicles, wood burning stoves, machine frames, railway wheels, pipes, bells and pump housings are made by casting, and small parts such as dental crowns, jewelry, small statue, frying pans are made by castings, and all variety of metals can be casted except as ferrous and non-ferrous metals. This is the major advantage of casting, where we can cast ferrous metals and non-ferrous metals. The mold is in casting. How the mold is prepared in the casting. Mold is a container with casting whose geometry determines part shapes. Actual size and shape of the cavity must be slightly oversized to allow for shrinkage of metal during solidification and cooling. Molds are made of variety of materials include sand, plaster, ceramic and metals. Here in the diagram you can see the mold how it is prepared. The blue part is the needed part needed to be casted. So on a wood they have already casted the same amount of mold cavity, same with the same dimensional accuracy. You can see the diagram. So open, we have two types of molds. First one is open mold and the other one is closed mold. Here in the diagram, the cavity is open to atmosphere, which is called as a open mold, and the cavity is close to the atmosphere, which is called as a closed mold. Now I read the parts specified. First, the ash color one is the casted metal that is poured in the first diagram as well as the in the second diagram. And then we have flask, the flask which is shown outside, and then we have the molded sand we have molded sand, we have runner, we have drag, we have cope, we have parting line, we have cast metal in the cavity, we have core, we have filler, we have pouring cup. So coming to the two forms of the mold, we have one open mold, which is simply a container in the shape of a desired parts. So here in the open mold, we have only a container and a casted metal, and this brown color is the sand. With that brown color is the sand, and this is a flask open to the atmosphere, which is filled with a brown color sand and having a cavity in between, and which is in which cavity the casted metal is poured. That is called as a open mold. And now coming to the closed mold, which is in the shown in the part B. The closed mold, in which the mold geometry is more complex and requires a gating system leading to the cavity. So I define what is a closed mold. Here you can see a closed mold. Here you can see a red color flask, which is in the form of a red color, and it is having two buttons on the right side and the left side, and in between there is a line. In between the buttons we have a line. We have a line shown. A line is called as a parting line, and the down color box down, and the down box is known as a drag. The upper box is known as a cope, and these two are distinguished by an parting line in between. So we have a the sand color. The sand is poured in the both the flasks. So in the part B we have two flasks which are connected together, which are fixed together by using a parting line in between. So the down flask is drag, the upper flask is cope. Now, and it is filled with a, both are filled with a sand, and in between we have some gating system where starting from the left I have a pouring cup, and then a riser in between, and then this is a coat metal cavity, and it comes to a end of the line. So using this pouring cup is like a conical flask, a riser pin is the one which is used in between, and then we have a cast in metal cavity. So these are the system that is formed in the sand. When after finishing these two drag and cope box, after arranging them in order, we will have a pouring cup in which the molten metal is poured, and then a riser in which where the level of the molten metal is seen, and then we have a cavity in which we need to be filled with the molten metal. So when the molten metal is poured using the pouring cup, it comes into the molten cavity, and some remains in the riser. As this molten cavity is being filled, the riser will be getting emptied, and later then it is kept frozen or solidified for under room temperature for a week or so, and then we remove both the drag and cope box. When we remove both the drag and cope box at the by removing the bolts at the parting line, we get the cavity that is formed inside. This is nothing but a closed mold. So two categories of casting process. We have two categories of casting process. Expandable mold process, used for expandable mold which must be destroyed to remove castings. So the mold materials used for expandable mold process are sand, plaster and similar materials plus binders. And permanent mold processes, which are used for permanent molds, which can be used to produce over many castings, and which are made of metals such as less commonly ceramic refractory materials. So these two and the permanent mold process are a bit difficult to get destroyed. So this is sand cast molding process, which I have shown before. The same way we have many parts shown here. The two flasks, the down flask is drag and the upper flask is cope, and then there is a parting line in between. We have riser, we have pouring cup, which is called as the pouring cup is called as a sprue pin, which is down sprue pin, and then here we have a runner where the metal is poured in through the sprue pin and moves to the runner, It is called a runner, a line, it moves to a line that is called as a runner, and then riser, which is used to see the level of the casting. And then if you need any space in between or any hole in between, the yellow colored one is a hole, which is nothing but a core, where where the cavity never forms, the cavity where the molten metal remains empty there. And then this is the entire diagram of a cast metal in the cavity along with the core. So sand casting molding terms. So mold consists of two halves, which I have shown in the one, the cope, upper half of the mold, and then the drag, bottom half of the mold. Mold halves are contained in a box called as a flask. These two halves separated by a parting line, forming the mold cavity. Cavity is an inverse of the final shape with shrinkage elements. Pattern is a model of the final shape with shrinkage elements. Wet sand is made by adding binder in the sand. Mold cavity is formed by packing sand around the pattern. When the pattern is removed, the remaining cavity of the packed sand has desired shape of cast parts. The pattern is usually oversized to allow the shrinkage of the metal during solidification and cooling. So this is the way how the casting is being formed. And then use of core in the mold cavity. Core is cavity provides an external features of the casted parts, whereas the core provides the internal feature of the part. It is placed inside the mold cavity with some support. In sand casting, cores are generally made of sand. So here I show the difference between the cavity and a core. This is nothing but a cavity and this is nothing but a core. Gating system. The gating system, it is a channel through which the molten metal flows from cavity from outside of the mold. Consists of a down sprue through which the metal enters a runner leading to the main cavity. At the top of the down sprue, a pouring cup is often used to minimize splash and turbulences as the molten metal flows down to the down sprue. So minimize splash and turbulences means the cracks that are formed inside are called as a splashes and turbulences. Riser. The use of a riser. It is a reservoir in the mold which is a source of a liquid metal to compensate for shrinkage of the part during the solidification. A riser is shown in the diagram where it shows the level of the metal that is poured, and then after when the metal in the casted molten metal cavity is being solidified, the remaining metal being solidified, it reduces its dimensions, where the dimensions are covered by the molten metal that is in the riser. Most metals are less dense as a liquid than a solid. So casting shrink upon cooling, which can leave a void at the last point to solidify. Risers prevent this by providing molten metal to the casting as it solidifies, so that the cavity forms in the riser or not in the casting. So usually the cavities are formed in the riser. As soon as the casting gets solidified, the molten metal that is in the riser comes onto the cavities that are going to be that are needed to be replaced, so that the complete molten metal, the complete part is being solidified. Now heating the metal. Heating furnaces are used to heat the metal to the molten temperature sufficient for casting. The heat required is the sum of heat to raise the temperature to melting point, heat to raise molten metal to desired temperature for pouring. Next, pouring the molten metal. For the first step to be successful, metal must flow into all regions of the mold, most importantly the main cavity, before solidifying. So we need to pour the metal before solidifying. Factors that determine success are pouring temperature, pouring rate and turbulence. What is meant by pouring temperature? Pouring temperature should be sufficiently high in order to prevent the molten metal to start solidifying on its way of cavity. Then the pouring rate should neither be high, if it is high, it may stuck the runner, should match viscosity of the metal, not very low, that may start solidifying on its way of the cavity. So the pouring rate should not be high, neither be low. So the coming to the turbulence should be kept minimum in order or ensure smooth flow and to avoid mold damage on the entrapped of foreign materials. Also turbulence causes oxidation at the inner surface of the cavity. This results in cavity damage and poor surface quantity of the casting. Actually turbulence, if you need to understand more about the turbulence, you can see a chalk piece. If you see a chalk piece, you can find air gaps in between or a small cavities in between. So turbulence is the if there is a turbulence in the molten metal, you cannot find such sort of a cavities. So it gives a smooth surface finish for the mold and never entrapped any foreign material to damage the molten metal. So fluidity is also one of the property that is need to be checked for casting, a measure of capability of the metal to flow into a field of the mold before freezing. Fluidity is the inverse of viscosity. Viscosity means which is a resistance to flow. So factors affecting fluidity are pouring temperature relative to melting point, metal composition, viscosity of the liquid metal, and heat transfer to surroundings. So if the metal is having a fluidity nature, it can be easily flow into the mold cavity. Next, shrinkage and solidification and cooling. Shrinkage means it occurs in two steps: while cooling the metal during phase transformation of liquid to solid, and while solidifying the metal is cooled down to room temperature. Actually, shrinkage means it is I can clearly explain you with an example where a duster is kept onto the water and the duster is filled with the water. If we press the duster, the duster shrinks to a different shape, which is nothing but the shrinkage. So like way, when the molten metal is poured into the flask, after this molten metal gets solidified, it shrinks, means it reduces its dimension. That is called as a shrinkage effect. And if it so shrinkage effects, when the metal is getting solidified, it gets a shrinkage effect. That shrinkage effect is occurred in three steps. It can be occurred while cooling, it can be occurred while transforming from liquid to solid, or it can occur when it is kept at the room temperature. Here I have shown a diagram where the metal is poured, where the starting the metal is poured, and then the second diagram where it reduces the liquid the dimension due to the liquid contraction. This is nothing but the shrinkage elements provided. And here is a graph which shows about the shrinkage elements, where x-axis shows the time, y-axis shows the temperature, where the pouring temperature is different, when the liquid starts cooling is different, when solidification time is different, and then when it is starts cooling is different. There shows an arrow which is horizontal line and then an inclined line. Again, when it is solidified, it comes to a straight line, and then when it gets cooling, it shows a down arrow. Shrinkage in solidification and casting. So in case of solidification and cooling, there is a two types of different ways in case of solidification and cooling. The first diagram shows reduction in height due to solidification shrinkage, and the second diagram shows solid thermal contraction due to cooling. So reduction in height due to solidification shrinkage, cavity caused by solidification shrinkage. Further reduction in height and diameter due to the thermal contraction due to cooling of the solidification gives diamond reductions and etc. for clarity. So there is a difference between the shrinkage which is done due to the solidification and the shrinkage which is done due to the cooling. Here are the two diagrams which are shown clearly. And now come to the large sand casting weighing over 680 kg for air compressor frame. This is a casted material which can be casted having a pores in between and everything. This is entire the casted material after casting process is being done. So steps in sand casting. So the first step is pour the molten metal into the solid molded cavity. Allow time for metal to solidify. Break up the mold to remove the casting. Clean and inspect casting. Separate gating and riser system. And heat treatment of casting is sometimes required to improve metallurgical properties. So the sequence how in which the casting is done: first core making if needed, and then pattern, and if we need to any internal cores, means holes are there, that we need to make the core first, and then pattern making. After making the pattern, so coming here to the sand we need to prepare the sand, and then we need to, after making a pattern, we need to make the mold, and then we come to the raw material using, and then melt the raw material. After making the mold, we pour the raw material into the solid cavity, and then it is allowed to solidified and cooling, and then we remove the sand, and then clean and inspect it, then and finally we get the finished casting process. So this figure clearly shows the steps in production sequence and sand casting. Steps involve the casting operation, but also pattern making and mold making. So making the sand mold. The cavity in the sand mold is formed by packing sand around a pattern, then separating the mold into two halves and remove the pattern. The mold must contain gating and riser system. If casting is have internal surfaces, a core must be included in the mold. A new sand must be made for each part to be produced. For each part we need to take a new sand. Actually, how the pattern are made and the materials that are used to make the pattern. A full size mold of a part slightly enlarged to account for shrinkage and machining elements is the casting. Pattern materials that are used are wood, which is commonly material used and easy to work, and then metal, most expensive, and then sometimes plastic, which comprise between the wood and mold. Permanent mold casting process. We have in permanent mold casting processes, we have disadvantage of expandable mold casting. A new mold is required for every casting. In permanent mold, the mold is reused many times. The process include basic permanent mold casting, die casting, and centrifugal castings comes under permanent mold castings. The basic permanent mold castings are use of metal mold constructed for two sections, designed for easy, precise opening and closing. Molds used for casting lower melting point alloys are aluminum, copper, brass, and commonly made of steel or cast iron. Molds used for casting steel must be made of refractory materials due to very high pouring temperatures. So permanent mold casting is shown here, which consists of a steps in a first one, mold is preheated and coating. So how the mold is preheated and coating is shown here in the diagram. We have an hydraulic cylinder to open and close mold, then movable mold section, stationary mold section, and spray nozzle, where the hydraulic cylinder moves, and then we use the hydraulic cylinder is used to move the movable mold section, and then we using a spray nozzle we spray the required metal, and then we use a stationary mold section where it is not moved at all in permanent mold casting. So here it is a diagram how the permanent mold is being done. Steps in a permanent mold casting. First one, two cores. If we need any core, it is used, are inserted and mold is closed. 3. Molten metal is poured into the mold where it is solidifies. So here we insert a core, we push the movable section, and we insert a core in between where the core is required. We push the movable section, and then when the core, after inserting, we push the movable section, we move the both to certain distance, and then we pour the molten metal, which is shown in the diagram 3, into the mold where it is solidified, and then lets it solidified. The block diagram is nothing but the core that is inserted inside. So advantages of a permanent mold are good dimensional accuracy, very economical for mass production, more rapid solidification caused by cold metal molds, result in fine grain structures. So castings are very stronger in permanent mold castings. The limitations used is generally limited to metals for lower melting point. Complex part geometries can be made because of need to open the mold. High cost of the mold, not suitable for low volume productions. These are the advantages and limitations for the permanent mold castings. Next, generally defects of the permanent mold castings. The most defect of the permanent mold casting is completely filling mold cavity that has been solidified. The most defect of permanent mold casting is misran. What is meant by misran? The reasons for the misran is fluidity of the molten metal is if the fluidity of the molten metal is insufficient. Fluidity means the uh, the property of flowing nature, which I have already explained to you in before slides. If the pouring temperature is also too low, we get a misran. If the pouring is done too slowly, we get a misran. If the cross section of the mold cavity is too thin, we get a misran. If the mold design is not accordance uh, with the gating system, then we get a misran. This is the main defect that is done in the permanent mold castings. So general defects are the two portions of the molten metal together, but the lack of fusion due to the premature early or freezing, or reasons same as for misran. So some common defect is cold shut is also one of the common defect, where if we insert a core, the area around that may not be uh, may not be solidified in the same way, which is called as a cold shut. Around the core may not be freezed in the same way. It's also called as a cold shut. Here I have shown a diagram which shows the cold shut, which is also one of the defect in permanent molding system. General defects are cold. Gating system should be improved. Cold shot. Matter passes during the pouring and solidifies globals for becoming entrapped in the casting. So sometimes these are called as cold shoots, which are formed if there is any impurities available, or if any splashings is being done, the cold shots are being formed, which is also one of the defect in permanent moldings. General defect, shrinkage cavity, which I have explained already in the before. So depression in the surface or in internal void caused by the solidification shrinkage. There are internal voids which are caused due to the solidification shrinkage, and this can be solved by using a proper rising design can solve this issue, so that we don't have any solidification shrinkage. And general defect in casting systems are hot turning is one of the another defect. Hot turning is nothing but a casting in the casting occurs when the molten metal is not allowed to contract by underlying mold during cooling and solidification. So as shown in the figure, when the molten metal is not cooled in the same way, this is called as a hot tearing, and this should be improved by molten twisting during solidification. This should be improved by taking care of the collapsibility of the molten metal, so that the shrinkage during solidification can be improved. Sand casting defects, sand blow. This is one more defect. Balloon shaped gas cavities can be released of mold gases during pouring. So this is a sand blow. Low permeability of mold, poor venting, high moisture content in the sand are the main reasons where we get the sand blow, as shown in the figure. So pinholes can be formed. Formation of many gas cavities and slightly below surface of the casting. This is caused by releasing of gas during the pouring metal. To avoid, we need to improve the permeability and venting in the mold. And then penetration. This is one more defect in the sand casting. When fluid of the liquid metal is high, it penetrates into the solid mold or core, causing casting surface to consist of mixture of sand grains and metal. The penetration as shown in the diagram, which is also a common defect, and this can be reduced by reducing pouring temperature. If possible, use better sand binders. This can be reduced. So here I end the topic, where I have cleared about the casting processes, and I have cleared the defects in casting, the advantages in casting, and the process that is done in the casting. So thank you one and all. Any defects?